Hey guys, in this video I'll talk about three main hiring mistakes and kind of like how you can avoid them, how you can make less hiring mistakes while hiring people for your company to grow it faster, and some of the things that I've learned on my journey. And obviously I'm not like hiring expert by any means, but we've hired many great people and many people that we had to let go, and we've done many mistakes, and we hired like many people that we shouldn't have. And if you're an entrepreneur that like wants to grow their business, wants to kind of like improve their infrastructure and kind of like delegate a lot of the things so you can focus on the things that matter most for you and for your business, then you definitely need to hire people. And there are a few things that people do wrong when they're hiring people. So the mistake number one is people hire just like too fast, right? And what happens a lot of times is that let's say you have like a job, like opportunity, right? And you have like an ad for it, and you start collecting like applicants, right? And what happens with a lot of entrepreneurs is that they would get like first few applicants, and they would like right away hire someone like out of that list, or maybe like even the first applicant that that gets on that list. And what would typically happen is that like that instant decision, sometimes it works out, but most of the time, because it wasn't kind of like well thought through, and it wasn't like well kind of like you haven't like evaluated all of the kind of capabilities of that person, whether that person is a good fit for your company, whether that person is a good fit for the position specifically that you're looking to fill. Most likely you will do the mistake of hiring them. And that mistake of hiring someone wrong for the position typically will cost you a lot long term. And the reason for that is because like you're hiring someone, right? Obviously now you have to dedicate all of the time and resources to train that person. Once you have, trained that person, obviously that person becomes more valuable, or that person just constantly requires training. So it constantly requires, kind of like your attention. And so what happens is like long term, that person costs you a lot in extra time, money, effort. Also lost opportunity, because at the same time you were not looking for other candidates that would fill that position much better than the first person that you were looking to hire. So there are a lot of like disadvantages of that, and the best approach is to know exactly who you want to hire, know exactly what the position you want to hire for, and kind of like know exactly what are the personality traits and what are the things you want to see in that person for them to be a great fit for your company, not just for short term, but let's say for the next like 5 years. And if you think about from that perspective, like whether you would hire the person to work with you for the next, let's say 5-10 years, right? So whether you would make that decision differently, whether you would hire that person that you hired in the first place. So that's totally different perspective. And that's how I recommend you think about it. And that's how we try to think now when we are hiring new people. So if we are hiring them, we want to have great team members. We don't want to just have like average team members. We want to have team members that like what they do, that are passionate about what they do, that are kind of like want to learn, want to expand, want to invest in their education. We help them with training, with resources. We want them to grow. We want them to make more money. So there's like a performance structure for our employees and kind of like how they perform. And so basically structuring that in a way where it's like person likes what they do and they stick with us for a long time, because cost of replacing like a wrong person, even the right person, let's say you train the person and the person like worked well for you, but then you have to let them go because they found a better opportunity because you didn't let them grow in your company. This by itself will cost you a lot, because now you have to replace that person, and again you have to start the whole process from scratch. So that's mistake number one, just hiring too fast in the first place. Hire the right person, the process, give people like, tasks, which will be the second kind of like point, which you want to communicate, is hire people according to what they do, but not what they say, right? So if you read like all of the if you read the reviews, or you read the for example the resumes of people, typically like on paper everything looks perfect. I worked for this company and was like, very good at this. I'm also very good at this. I have these personality traits, which is awesome, right? So no one talks bad about themselves, and very small amount of people actually know, kind of like say like, okay, so I'm bad at this, or have like that self-awareness. So kind of like the way to eliminate people that kind of like talk a lot but not actually deliver is just when you hire them, give them some trial tasks, right? So give them some trial tasks. Okay, so let's say if you're hiring like a copywriter, right? Okay, so create a description for this particular product, or create a description for this particular service or product, or whatever. So give them the chance to do it by themselves, and then when they've done it, right? Let's say you give them some product, let's say it's dropshipping product that you created a description for. How you can validate if they're like honest, you take that and you check if it was like the plagiarism, right? So whether it was like plagiat, and this way you will see maybe that person just found that text on internet, just copy pasted it right into your applications. This way you can instantly eliminate that person from the hiring process. So hiring for any person takes time, takes effort, takes patience. And a lot of people, obviously, and especially entrepreneurs, they don't have this patience. So, but if you want to build a great team, then you definitely need to have a patience. So give people some trial tasks, judge people by what they do, but not what they say, right? So if someone says, I have very good attention to the detail, right? And then you see like their emails, and they have let's say punctuation mistakes, or they're like misspelled, or let's say you write them and you say, let's say, your email, and say like, thanks, Alex. And that person doesn't say like, hey, dear, or hello, just like without Alex in it, right? So then that person does not have the attention to detail that, they're talking about. So judge people by what they do, not what they say, because words, are cheap, and talk is cheap, but the action is actually what gets things done and what grows companies. The mistake number 3 is basically hiring people that are similar to you, right? So as entrepreneur, typically the first people that you would hire would be people similar to you, excited about marketing, excited about ads. And so that's typically the mistake that a lot of people do. That's definitely the mistake that I have made. I try to hire people that are similar to me, because then it's more interesting to chat with that person and have a decent conversation with them. But at the end of the day, you want to hire people that are opposite of you. So if you don't have the attention to detail, you need to hire the person who is good at that. If you don't have the let's say programming, or kind of coding, or those kind of things, then you need to find people who are strong in that. So if you take, for example, Russell Brunson, right, the founder of ClickFunnels, his partner Todd, right, so he's more like a kind of developer guy, so he has this kind of more introvert, and he's kind of more thoughtful. He knows how to build things, develop things, how the coding works. Obviously ClickFunnels is not the perfect software, but it does the job, and it's we use it in our business, that it is highly profitable. But keep in mind that once Russell hired Todd, their company started to get traction very fast, because Russell could focus on things that he does the best. And in your business, you have to identify what you can do the best. If you're the best in writing copy, identifying angles for ads, or maybe building the team, then you have to dedicate the most of your time actually doing that task, because then you can just fill those gaps, and put people in positions where they're filling the gaps but at the same time, you're focusing on things that are making the biggest impact on your company, right? And where you're the strongest. And you always have to focus on your strongest skills, because that's where you will get the best returns. And you just have to fill the gaps where you don't have a lot of capabilities or you're not as good at. So these are, guys, the 3 mistakes. So first of all, don't hire too fast. Do the proper kind of like process for hiring. Kind of do the proper evaluation. Hire people on different channels. Combine people in one source. Give them trial task. Measure like what people do, but not what they say. And hire people who are opposite or who can fill the gaps in your company of what you cannot do as well. So these are the 3 hiring mistakes and 3 tips that you can use for hiring team members for your e-commerce, dropshipping, or whatever kind of business you're running. Especially if you're already 6-7 figure entrepreneur, you want to scale your company farther and you want to grow your team and your business much faster. If you want to grow your business with personalized help from me and my team, then I will invite you for a free strategy session. There should be a link below in the comments, so just apply for it. Get access to our free strategy session. We'll dissect your business. We'll see exactly how we can scale it. This is only for business owners, entrepreneurs who already have a business. This is not for people who are just starting out. You need to have budgets to advertise, to apply what we teach and basically our whole framework, and you need to be able to apply and listen to our advice and implement it to get results faster. So this is only for people who are in that position to scale their business to the next level. And we have a lot of success stories of entrepreneurs like you who've scaled their business with our help. So if you're interested in that, just apply for a free strategy session. And thank you for watching, guys. I hope that was valuable for you. And comment below if you have any questions or if there any topic that you want me to cover in the next video. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.